Hey guys, welcome back to Woods Tree Farm. I'm Phil, and today we're going to do a proper transplant bed. We've actually never done this before. We've always just field planted everything that we've ever planted. But this year, last year, if we take a step back, we got hit pretty hard with a dry fall, and then over the winter, deer took out a bunch of trees, and we had a lot of browse damage on our white pines. We had a bunch of rub damage on our Scotch pines, and also on some of our Lelands. So we did a big order from the forestry department, and their seedlings were just 2.0s, so we got some Scotch pine and some white pine from them. And many of their seedlings just weren't strong enough to stand up on their own. So we're going to plant in a transplant bed all of the smallest ones. All of the largest ones we have field planted. If they were big enough to stand up on their own, we have filled in here in our field with those little 2.0 seedlings, and like I said, all the rest are going to go in a transplant bed. So we've identified a spot which is just over here. This will get afternoon shade, so hopefully that preserves some moisture in the soil for these seedlings. It's also right here next to the pond, where it'll be easy for us to just scoop up a bucket of water as needed to water the seedlings in the transplant bed. And what I've done so far here is just turn over this little bit of soil right here. I used the blue tractor and the plow on the back of that. Now we're going to go hook up the tiller on the other tractor, try to break up the soil. We're going to add some wood chips. We've got a pile of broken down wood chips that have been over there over 2 years, so it's mostly just decomposed wood chips that's almost turned into a topsoil like material. We'll take a look at that in a minute, but we're going to add some of that to this, and then we're going to create a little bit of a mound, and it will be our transplant bed, and then we'll put some trees in it. So enough talking about it, let's get to work. So we got the tiller hooked onto the back of the tractor, and while I was away doing that, the kids grabbed the metal detector and started treating this as a little archaeological site, and found a tiny little unfired bullet, and Hudson could read it. I couldn't see it, but it says S&W 32. So that is interesting. Oh, so you know what, this actually, it has a little mark on that center pin. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. See a little mark in the middle of that center pin? So they tried to fire it and it didn't fire. So then they ejected it, left it on the ground for you to find, and went about their day. That happens sometimes when you're shooting a gun. Not every bullet will go off, and that looks like that's what happened with that. You find anything?
No.
That thing's a little tall for you.
Yeah.
Do you have the sensitivity dialed up or down or in the middle?
I have no clue.
Hudson, do you know?
I have no clue.
Since she just turned it on, it should be at default sensitivity. Now it's not.
All right. You need to move your, there you go, so you get that parallel to the ground.
Do you see something over, near something over here?
Can
We stopped just over there.
Can I check? After you?
Yeah, after I finish this row.
Then I'll do the next one. Go to the very back.
All the way over and back. Over and back.
All right, the archaeology team is clearing out. They're going to move on to another site to go explore, and now we can get to work on this transplant bed. You can see these wood chips that have been over here have largely turned into soil. There's obviously still some undecomposed stuff in there, but I think this will be good for our clay soil. We've done this elsewhere in our property, and I think it helps. So I'm just going to kind of knock this pile down now. We'll sprinkle some fertilizer in here with it and turn all this up with the tiller. this really looks pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with the way this came out. Look at that. There's our nemesis right there. We have lots of these grubs that we're going to be treating for this year, and you know, we got to wait until they're actively feeding when they're a little bit higher up in the soil. But we have definitely lost some trees in the past to those grubs, and we want to get that under control. But hopefully these trees in this transplant bed will do good. Stacy's coming now. I can hear her coming, and she has some trees.
Oh, that'll work nice.
I think that'll work. You know, we've got a flat trenching shovel. That would work better than that curved one.
No, that curved one's gonna.
Alright, so you're going to take that rubber band off, and let's just get like, I don't know, 6 or 8 trees and try to make a little row of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, do a little something like that.
Does it need to be deeper?
No.
Soil.
Alright, what do you think, Stace?
I think it looks great. Looks cute. Fluffy. Hope it works. It's a lot of trees.
There's more trees in there than I thought we had, but it really makes sense to not put some of those small trees in the field. We've done that in past years, and 100% of them die for some reason. More often than not in the past, you can't see it with the when you're mowing, and you just chop it off. But they also just dry up, and you know, they need to be staked and all that. But I told you I was going to show you some of the deer damage that we've had. It has been extensive. So right in this area in here with these lealands, all this brown, you see all these trees had been rubbed. We got one there, it's completely knocked over. We need to stand it up. We've got another one over here that's partially knocked over. So this little section of lealands right here got hit really hard, and hoping to, you know, some of these trees will bounce back. We'll just have to wait and see. So those were just the lealands, and then a number of the surviving white pines that we had out here were eaten down to just little nubs. I've already dug those up and put some new pines in, so I can't show you those. We did have a couple of our surviving firs, and there aren't many surviving firs on this property, but a couple of those also got rubbed, which is really disappointing because we really want to grow firs and we haven't had that many survive. And when you see an otherwise healthy fir get completely destroyed by a deer, it's a little disheartening, but I guess that's just part of the battle. And there are sprays that we could explore to repel deer. I've heard mixed feedback from different farmers on some of those, so that could be something we could explore. Or we could just, you know, up the number of trees that we're planting, which I think is the approach that many farmers take. It's just, you know, you expect that the deer can't rub them all, can't eat them all. Just plant 2 or 3 times the number of trees you think you're going to need, and expect that a number of them are going to get damaged or die for some reason or another along the way. All right, we'll keep you posted on the transplant bed as we get through the summer this year. We're hoping that this is going to be easier to water, it's going to be easier to maintain, it's going to be easier to weed. So really giving these trees a good chance at surviving to become bigger, and then we can move them into the field once they can stand up for themselves, which might be as soon as next year. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see. So we'll keep you posted on a future video how that's going. And we're going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.